we going?
Hello and welcome everybody to the very first episode of Crazy Gamers Minecraft Factions Guide, where I'm going to be showing you all tips, tricks and tutorials of how to play factions and how to be successful at it. Now if you've just dropped onto a faction server, you're probably going to want to, first of all, if you're not going to join a faction, you'll want to start your own faction. So how you do this is you do a command, you do /f create, and then you think of a name that you want for your faction. So I call mine Pirate Gang, which I've always played with. You hit enter, you've created a new faction, Pirate Gang. So now you can do your description of your gang if you want, so when people look at you, or your faction, sorry, so when people look at your faction description, they'll be able to see a description. So you do /f desk for description, and then you write something. There you go. We drink rum and raid. So if you do /f who, you'll be able to see the information about your faction. And what you'll see is your name, Pirate Gang, description, we drink rum and raid. Joining invitation is required, so people can only join at the minute if the leader invites them to come. So then the next thing it shows you is your land, power and max power. So you've got land, which is 0, and then power is 10, max power is 10. For each player you have in a faction, you will get 10 power per player. So my max power with just one player at the minute is 10. For every time you die or you're killed, you're gonna lose 3 or 4 power depending what server you're playing on. And if you keep losing power and bring your power below your land consumption, then people can actually start over claiming your land and claiming your base off you and all sorts, and you don't want that to happen. You'll have a bad day. But I'm going to teach you some stuff today on the first episode. Because it's first episode, I'm going to go to the basics and teach you how to claim land and how to claim it effectively around your base to protect it. So the map is divided up into things called chunks. So if I do /f map, it will bring up a blip on the map. That's the map there. Now for every line you see there, you're the blue square, the blue cross in the middle, and for every dash you see there, that represents a 16 by 16 square on the map. So one of them lines is a chunk and represents 16 by 16 of these squares here. So if I stand here for instance and do /f claim, you have claimed land for your faction from Wilderness. So now if I do /f map on, then that map will be on all the time now. So as I move from chunk to chunk, it will give a new blip on the map as to where I'm standing now. So as you can see, I'm facing east. If I turn this way, I'll be facing north. So as I go in and out of the chunk I've just claimed, it's showing it on the map there, Pirate Gang. So I will own a 16 by 16 chunk here that no one can affect now unless I give them permissions to. Now if you want to unclaim land, you can do /f unclaim. Now as I move chunk to chunk, you can see I don't own that land anymore. Now there's a neat little trick you can do where you can claim a radius around you as well. So how you would do that is /f claim radius, and then if I put 2 in, for instance, hit enter, you can see I've claimed a good few chunks of land around me now. So as we move now from chunk to chunk, so you can see I claimed, including the chunk that I'm stood on, 2 chunks out each way. And that's how the claiming of the radius works. Now another neat trick you might want to know: if you end up with pieces of land all over the world and you've forgot where they are, you might need to do an unclaim all sometime. So what you do is /f unclaim all. So it says I've unclaimed all of my faction's land. So as I move from chunk to chunk now, you can see all of my chunks have disappeared. I don't own none of that now. So there's some neat little tricks for you that will get you started and help you. So now I've shown you that of how to actually claim land. I'm going to come up here. Die. Okay, so I'm going to come to the middle and I'm going to show you how to effectively claim your land now when you're building a base. So if there's just you and your faction and you're going to build a small base, then you might only want to claim 1 chunk, because you don't want people killing you and overclaiming your base. If people kill you once, you're going to be down to 6 power. So if I do /f claim, okay, so if I do /f who again to see the information about my faction, it says my land is 1, my power is 10, max power 10. So if I get killed, my power's going to go down to 10. If I get killed again, it'll go down to 2. If I get killed again, it'll go below 1. So people could now claim this piece of land off me, because I haven't got enough power to protect that land. And they could just claim it and they'll own it now, and I won't be able to break blocks on there or get in a base or anything if I've got a base on there. Now if you was going to build a base, imagine each one of these squares represents a chunk. So this white wall block, no, let's do orange. So we'll do an orange wall block here to represent where I'm going to build my 1 chunk base. Now you'd obviously claim that chunk of land there, and then you'd want to claim chunks of land around it to stop people TNT in your base or cannon in your base easily. So that would be your base there. You'd have your walls, your roof on, your water over your base to keep it protected from TNT cannons. You might even want to dig trenches around your base to protect from sand stacking up, if you know anything about cannoning. And then, if, let's say your walls don't go outside that orange square there, so you have a couple of walls going inwards or something, then you could actually claim, if you had more power, because think about it, this would cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pieces of power that would cost. So you'd actually be in danger if you was in a 1-man faction of getting overclaimed. You'd only have to be killed once and you'd be overclaimable. So this is where having factions, having team members in factions is going to help you lots. It will help you lots. You need people in factions, you need teammates and allies. That's how it works. To gain power, gain land, have nice bases, dominate, owning, and having all the money on the server and stuff like that, or the most money. That's generally what factions is all about. Now, if you had a big faction, let's say you've got 10 or 15 or 20 people in your faction, you'll have lots of power to spare, especially if you can trust these people. So you might want to build a really big base, or a bigger base. So I'll show you how you can do that. So the wall represents chunks again. So let's say you build a little bit of a bigger base this time. Let's get some light out here. So you're building a bit of a bigger base this time. You've built 4 chunks. Right, so how you'd want to protect around that is you'd want to claim your land out here like this. Again, you claim all the way around in a square. And then you would claim probably another square around that if you had lots of power. And then you'd claim your arms going outwards. But if you was building a bigger base like this, then you would probably take the walls outwards a bit. So you'd have multiple layers of walls coming out, which means that you could potentially get an enemy claiming this land here and getting really close to your walls to cannon them, which you don't want. So you'd also claim there and this side as well. So remember, every time you make your base bigger, you have to claim more land to protect it. Just like that. Did do that each side. Like that. That's how it will go. In fact, these corner bits here, they could probably be taken off because not a lot of people corner cannon. If you didn't have a lot of power, you was trying to spare your power a bit, you could take them off. So let's look at it from above. So that is how it would look from above. So now for enemies to cannon your land, because don't forget they can't place TNT on there like that. So they have to build cannons outside your land. So you're probably going to get enemies claiming like four chunks of land here like that, and then building a cannon in the middle and cannoning across or through your land into your base. So this is what you're going to expect in factions. Enemies coming and claiming land out here, trying to get at you. That's what you're going to expect. So the more you can claim away from your base, the harder it's going to be for enemies to cannon at you. If you have lots and lots of power and you can really claim out like that on each arm, then it's going to be very hard for the enemies to get at you. They're going to be miles away with the cannons, which means they have to build bigger, more intricate cannons that are harder. But that is the basics of how you claim your base on factions anyway. So that is about it for the first episode. I hope the tips and the tricks are going to help you, the little commands and that, the radius commands and such. That should get people going on any faction server that they go on now. But if you like this, I'm going to be doing more episodes, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Crazy Gamer and I'll see you next time for episode 2 of Minecraft Factions Guide.